The more you want, the more you get. The more you want, the more you get. How to get more of what you want and how to be humbly audacious. The wrong way to think about being audacious or having the audacity is to think that is a bad thing. Having the audacity is actually what gets you to receive. Did the live just restart? Oh my gosh. I think the live restarted. Um, I'll just repeat the title. So, the more you want, the more you get, how to be humbly audacious. And the wrong approach to being audacious and having the audacity is thinking that you are a bad person for having audacity when audacity is very much something that can be put into any religious belief, into any spiritual belief. It doesn't matter what you believe in, there is some portion of audacity you need to have in that space. So, and that applies to that space. So, for being Christian, that could be praying boldly. If you are a person who is spiritual, you can say asking, continuing to ask your higher power. I don't really care what your belief is. Just know this video is for you if you want to know how to be humbly audacious. So, this is not a person that expects to get something by sitting on their behind. This is the person that actually gets what they want using audacity in the way that actually works for humankind. So, the first thing when it comes to having audacity is understanding what is audacity. Audacity is simply having the kahunas to ask for something. Now, kahunas is not American. It's not a English word. I almost said American. It's not an English word, but kahunas basically means having the balls. If you want to think about the one person in your life who is the most successful person you know, probably doesn't deserve to be as successful as they are. They're just the person that you know has done whatever it took to get there. So it's not necessarily about being the best person, it's about doing what needs to get done to get where you want to be. And that is when audacity steps in because having the audacity, desiring to have the audacity for something, for a goal or a desire, literally reveals the steps. Now, if you're wanting a desire and you haven't got the desire yet, or you haven't figured out how to get the desire, where do I go next? Right? You start a business and you're like, okay, great. Or let's better example. Let's say you start a YouTube channel. You're like, where do I start next? Where do I go next? Those steps will reveal themselves when you become audacious. When you have the audacity to really want what you're asking for, the steps will be revealed. Period. So I'm going to give you 3 ways that is going to show you how to be audacious so that you can actually get what you want. Because you don't want to be like everybody else around here who continues to do the exact same thing they're always doing in their life. They're not getting any results and then they keep doing it. Like they're just like, if I keep repeating the same thing, eventually something will click. Something will click. When in reality, nothing ever is going to click because you're using your current you to try to get to a future version of you. You need to take your current self, rearrange some beliefs, which may or may not be that audacity is your right and audacity is necessary to get what you want. Those could be the beliefs that you're trying to unravel. You need to unravel those. And then once you change those beliefs, you need to move forward from there. Stop doing the same thing over again in the same results because you are a definition of an insane person. The first thing to do is to expect what you ask for and assume that something is wrong, malfunctioning, out of order, something's broke otherwise. So when you expect what you ask for, you are not going to accept anything other than that. So what you expect is what you accept. Okay? EXPECT. Expect is what you accept. ACCEPT. So if you asked McDonald's for a burger, I don't really know what their burger, Big Mac, right? You pull up to the drive-through, you're like, give me the Big Mac and a medium fry, large Coke. And they say, here's your order, ma'am. Here's some chicken nuggets. Here's the fries, the medium fry. And then we ran out of Coke, we got Sprite. You would say, okay, I understand that you ran out of Coke. I get it because there's only so much supply of Coke. Then you would say, okay, I got my medium fry. Bet I asked for the medium fry and I got the medium fry, period. But you're gonna look and you're gonna say, why do I have a 6-piece nugget when I asked for a sandwich? And you're gonna say, here's the sandwich, take that. I mean, here's the nuggets, take that back. Appreciate it. Give me my sandwich. And they're gonna go back and say, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. And they're gonna fix it. And then they're gonna do what you want. You're gonna get your Big Mac because you asked for it. Now, one thing, God, source, universe is not McDonald's. So you don't have to accept the Sprite if you asked for a Coke. I understand in real life when you ask for a Sprite, ask for a Coke and they're out, they'll give you a different soda option because that is a limited resource. They only have so much Coke and it's a really popular drink. And maybe they underestimated how much they needed to buy to sell. Again, universe, God, divine, whatever you believe in, I personally say God is not a limited resource. Okay, it's not a limited resource. So if you want your Coke, you do not accept the Sprite. Okay, great. You got the medium fry. Do not be excited. I'm literally breaking down the meal. If you got the medium fry that you asked for, don't say, at least I got the medium fry. Like, I didn't get the other two things, but at least I got the medium fry. It's okay. It's fine. I'll just take it. Like, I'll just take the sliver I'm getting. When you see a medium fry and you ask for a medium fry, you should be like, I'm so grateful that I got this. And I would also still like my sandwich. And you get to say that. And then if they don't give you the sandwich and you ask for the, oh, you asked for a sandwich and they gave like the Big Mac and you were given fries and a Sprite and some nuggets, you have to have the audacity. This is where the actual action comes into play because when you don't have the audacity, you will say, no, it's okay. I like nuggets. I I actually don't mind nuggets. Maybe this is a sign that I'm supposed to have nuggets, not a burger. And the universe, God, source, whatever, is saying, oh, they're okay with it. Okay, great. Let's move on. But when you don't move your car until you get the burger, you're going to get the burger you asked for. Okay? So don't think about God, source, universe. I'm just going to say God. I don't have time. Like when you are asking God for something and you're bringing something up to the table of request table, you get to be audacious because it's not a limited resource, unlike McDonald's. And even if you were to get the wrong thing at McDonald's, you would expect that somebody wasn't paying attention. You would assume, not accept, you would assume somebody wasn't paying attention. Somebody probably didn't even check if there was enough Coke in the bag. They just assumed there wasn't. Like you're going to start to assume so many things have literally gone wrong. You're like, this is not normal, right? This is not what I'm expecting. And you get to not be okay when you don't get it. And you have to be very clear on what you want. And when I was in high school, I took the SAT for getting into college. I don't necessarily remember what I got because I was 6 years ago, seven, maybe 7 years ago. But let's just say I got a 950 and I wanted a 1050. So I got a 950 and I wanted a 1050. Who would I be to take the 950 and say, no, it's fine? I, like the 1050 is like over audacious. Like a lot of people, a lot of kids don't even get a 950. I should take it. I can get into some pretty good schools with a 950. Let me just take it. But I entered the test wanting a 1050. So guess what? You would retake the test. And I retook my SAT over and over and over. Even though the first score I got could have gotten me into schools, I was like, well, I don't really like this score. So my dad was like, retake it. And I was like, what? You can retake a test, like you can re-sign up for it. That's okay. He's like, yeah, it's literally a test. You can take it as many times as you want. And I was taking mine about a year and a half in advance. So I had about entire three test cycle periods where I could retake the test. So giving yourself the space to redo something, to re-ask, to be audacious if it doesn't turn out the way you want in the first place. Is also important. If you don't have enough faith to believe it'll come the first time, this is a good leeway, a gateway into that. And at the time, I was like probably like 15, 16, something. Yeah, I think I was like 16. And I didn't know it was an option to retake tests. But my dad figured it all out. He was like, oh, yeah, just re sign up here. I'll put my little card information in here. Then you pick a date here. You just show up again and you get another test. And that was my first introduction into what are my other options and pretty much demanding what I want. And that was the first time that I knew about the phrase that I use very often on this page, which is what are my options? What are my options? What are my options? I don't take no for an answer. What are my options? That's me. And I want that to be you too. So demand it. Like, demand it. The second thing is don't ask, you demand. So asking says, I'm okay with or without the thing. And my mentor says that you and that thing are going to come together with or without other people. So it's the have it with you or have it without you energy, which is the complete opposite of asking. Okay. So when you ask for something, you're saying, like, okay, example, I'm at a coffee shop and she's like, would you like anything else? And I'm like, well, she's like, oh, we don't have the croissant you want. And I'm like, well, there's another location 10 minutes away who has the specific croissant that I want, but I stopped at this one. And so she's like, okay, well, would you like to add it to the order or like what? And you're in that instance, you're giving like, I'm okay with it without it. Like I'd like my coffee with or without the croissant. When you left the house wanting the croissant. Now, the other option to that would be I get to have this croissant with or without this location, with or without this restaurant. I'm getting the croissant and the coffee. So you could go to a different coffee shop, you go to some place and do something else, some other option, right? What are your options? What are your options? What are your options? Instead of accepting what you're currently being given. So it's not asking, it's demanding and like, get out of my way so I can get to the thing. In this instance, you're not literally going to tell the girl, if you get out of my face, get out of my way, I want my croissant. You're just going to say, no, thank you. I'm going to go to the other location where they have croissants. And what this does is it builds up confidence from you. Um, this built confidence is going to happen when you're not desperate over every single thing. And something else is that when you're very desperate over every single piece of motion, you take every single piece of motion that comes. And again, you start to take things as signs, synchronicities, when really you're just accepting what you shouldn't be. I always say if you hold out long enough, what you want will come in perfect alignment. Perfect, perfect. So if you don't have that friend group yet, hold out. Don't go back to the old friends because you're filling the space of the new friends with the energy of the old friends. Keep the void. Keep the void and do not be desperate. Keep the void and do not be desperate. Keep that void and wait until it's filled by the right thing. And the third thing is to start engaging with the idea of what more looks like. So you can do this by like saying, what are my other options? What else can I get? Okay, this and what? Instead of saying or, you say and. For instance, if you wanted to sell your car and they offered you 20,000 when you thought you were going to get 40,000, would you take it or would you say, no, thank you. I'm actually going to leave, go see my other options, and I will get back to you if ends up being what I want to do. And you may look at other options and decide you don't even want to sell your car. You want to go put it on Turo, make an extra $400 a month, and that's what you want to do with the car. So it's not about saying something that you want, continuing to ask for it in one way. It's about continuing to ask for it in all the options you have available. So don't look at it in one way, like this one person needs to be my partner. You look at it as I'm gonna be married with or without you. So get out of my way. I'm looking for my partner. Oof, that literally just set my heart on fire. That one sentence. Somebody needs to hear that. That's literally where the desperation leaves your body. Like desperate. I can also I'm gonna retitle this video How to Make Desperation Leave Your Freaking Body. When you're not, and when I say motion, I mean like literally like every activity, participation, opportunity, every event, every something. We all know the person that wants to be part of everything. Like they have to always be outside. They have to always be at every party, always be doing something. Like, do you ever sit at home? Do you ever like do anything other than be in everybody else's business, be in everybody else's house, everybody else's party? Do you ever like relax? I see those people, and you probably see those people as extremely desperate. I see them as extremely desperate. I'm like, why don't you ever go stay home? Like you're always outside, you're always doing something, you're always around people, and you're never ever by yourself. That's makes me see them as a desperate person because they're not even okay with their own company. So it's like when you think about, oh, what are my other options? That's what helps you really build into kind of learning how to be audacious. But humbly audacious comes from not being the person that's just like, you need to give me XYZ because I said so. You give me XYZ because I deserve it. You see how this entire video, we're letting go of the story of other people being necessary, and we're literally specifically talking about us being audacious towards our goals. There was no people involved in this video. There's no other, we're not talking about being audacious to other people in relationships. We are desiring something and being so audacious about our demands of what we want, and we're so 10 toes down in our desire that it doesn't matter if this person is going to give us what we want. Again, the example of boyfriend, right? I'm dating somebody named Johnny, and Johnny doesn't fit what I want as a husband. Do I say, Johnny, like, be a better boyfriend? I start asking him, be a better boyfriend. How can we, how can you, how can I do? And you start putting blame on everything else. You need to say, Johnny, I'm getting married with or without you. If you want to be my husband, get it together. If you aren't trying to get it together, I'm going to go find my husband. Please get out of my way. That is, oh my gosh, that is literally how you delete, eliminate. I was gonna come up with some other word, but I don't know. That is how you eliminate that um desperation that you may have when it comes to other people. So again, how to be audacious in the right way, expect what you're asking for, and and assume that something is wrong or malfunctioning otherwise. You don't ask, you demand, and you don't ask because you want to build your confidence and not be desperate. And number three is to engage more in what your options are and to always look for more options. Now, when I do these lives, I'm on this page almost every day going live. You guys can comment questions down below for anyone watching the replay. If you catch me live, you can always ask questions in the comments. And then these videos get posted to my YouTube channel on the main page. So I will see you guys in my next video. Stay audacious.